In the Rialto Unified School District, part of our mission states that we will have high expectation for student achievement. Today on the Bridge Podcast, we welcome two of the highest achieving students in the class of 2023, the Valedictorian and Salutatorian at Eisenhower High School. Please welcome Valedictorian Jennifer Isita Nunez, Salutatorian Jessica Magana, and their counselor, Mrs. Suzanne Kull. I want to thank you so much for being here. This is exciting because end of the year always means the fun stuff, which is the prom, and then you have the senior awards night, and then you have the senior breakfast, and of course you have your valedictorian and your salutatorian. So thank you, Mrs. Kull, for being here as well. I just want to get right into this and ask you both, Jennifer and Jessica, so how does it feel to be at the top of your class as a valedictorian and a salutatorian?
I would say that feels really, really good. Just because at the end of 8th grade, that's when I found out that the whole valedictorian thing. I learned.
So
more
it wasn't
about
a goal from middle school or elementary or anything like that?
Not from elementary, but at the end of middle school, yeah, it definitely became a goal. And then, I don't know, just completing that goal and having that dream actually come to life, I would say that it just feels really good.
So Jennifer, you hold a GPA of 4.78, right? Now, what is your favorite subject?
Funny enough, I'm not that good at math, but I actually really like taking AP statistics this year. I think it was really fun, and it made me want to possibly minor in statistics.
Okay, and so what is your, obviously you've been accepted to many, many colleges and university. You selected Cal State San Bernardino, and what do you want to end up doing?
I want to be a doctor, like a neurosurgeon.
Excellent. That is a very ambitious, and I'm sure you will do it. And what about you, Jessica? Tell us, how does it feel first to be a salutatorian at Eisenhower High School? And then also let us know, was this something that was a goal? And when didn't you realize that, okay, I'm going to try to reach this level of academic success?
No, I mean, it's always been a goal, especially since freshman year. But since the COVID thing, I kind of lost, motivation in most of my work. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and I kind of forgot about it. But then when senior year started, talk was coming up, Sal, Val, and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I look, you want that. And it was kind of, I don't think it's good to do it, but, I was comparing, to everyone else. We were all comparing our GPAs and stuff. And I'm like, wait, I might actually be able to get this. And then, surprisingly enough, I was here. I was just really surprised. I wasn't expecting it.
But you were getting good grades.
Yeah.
And you were working hard.
Yeah.
And you were studying, because there's no way you can get a 4.73 GPA and say it just happened. That doesn't happen by accident, right? No. And then you're heading to UCLA, so you're going to be a Bruin. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to major in?
It's titled Pre-Mathematics, Financial Actuarial Science.
Wow. How did you select that? Because there's not a lot of actuarians in the country.
No, this year I took macroeconomics, mm-hmm. and it's set apart from any of the other classes I've taken, at Eisenhower, and it just really called my attention. And I was like, I want to do something in this. And then it's maybe the teacher too, just the way he taught it made it really
Who's
interesting
he?
For me. Mr. Hernandez.
Mr. Hernandez.
Yes.
Okay. So the way that he taught it made you excited and engaged about okay, excellent.
And I just became really interested.
Oh, good.
So I grew from that.
Good. So I have to ask you, Mrs. Suzanne Kull, 33 years in the Rialto Unified School District. Started off as a teacher at Myers, right?
Yes.
And then tell us a little bit about you before we start asking about your brilliant scholars sitting here.
So I ended up in counseling because I was going to Myers, or I was teaching at Myers, and the principal said, you'd be a really good counselor. You should go do that.
And who was that principal at that time?
That was Diane Williams.
Diane Williams, that's right.
And she had said, you should go interview for that job. And I said, I'll go interview for the job, but I really like teaching. I want to stay here. And it ended up that not only did I get one job, I actually got 2 job offers from those interviews. And that really surprised me. So I decided, I guess I'll try this and see what it's like. So I guess I liked it because I've been here
At Eisenhower High
well,
School.
27 years in counseling, actually.
Absolutely. And can you tell me a little bit about Jennifer and Jessica?
So, unfortunately, I have only had them both, I think, for the last 2 years. So they were with other counselors during some of that time. But I have had the privilege of getting to know them over the last 2 years. I know that these two were always up there in that top, 5, trying to see who was going to end up on top. And just really proud of them. Always curious and questioning things and just wanting to know more. And I think that shows with all the grades that they've always received. They've always wanted to learn more.
And I know that sometimes people say, okay, when you're a valedictorian, you're a salutatorian, you reach that level of success where that's all you're doing. And that's really not the case here. You're very well-rounded young scholars. Like, I will give you an example for Jennifer, Isita Nunez. Jennifer, you actually were a member of water polo team for 2 years. You were on the swim team, and now you work as a lifeguard for the city of Rialto. So, wow. And then your extracurricular activities. Why don't you tell me your extracurricular activities? Because I have my cheat sheet right here.
I participate in EAOP. I've done that for 4 years.
What is EOP?
Early Academic Outreach Program. It's just like a college program that prepares you, like, in helping you apply for college and, like, actually taking you on field trips to visit, like, colleges. And that really helped me just because it made me see where I where I would like to go to school. Like, for example, they took us to see UC Berkeley on a field trip this summer, and it was a really nice experience, and that's what made me apply for UC Berkeley. And then for Upward Bound as well, I did that for 2 years. I'm also a part of the environmental club at our school. That's really fun, just because we get to plan really cool events like the Youth Climate Action Summit, and I forgot.
You're doing so much. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, you're a valedictorian. You're like, well, I'm doing this, and I'm also doing this. And Jessica, you as well. I don't want to forget about you. You as well. You're also a member of the tennis team, varsity tennis team for a year. Member of the Interactive Key Club for 1 year, and member of ASB for a year. So you guys enjoy being a part of your campus lifestyle, right? Yeah. So what's the best thing about Eisenhower High School? There's so much.
No, it's just really fun, the environment. Like, for example, in ASB, everyone just comes together for all the events, and then everyone gets so excited for it. Like, that's what I like most.
Are you going to miss your campus?
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing you're going to miss about Eisenhower? Because you can always come back.
The football games.
The football games?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking my friends, but the football game.
Well, you see your friends at the football game.
Oh, yeah, but there's some people that you're just probably time's going to pass by, and then you're not going to be as close with them as you used to be. And then high school is kind of that thing that bonded you together. And then if you're not going to have that anymore, then...
Yeah. It's a very, very special time, high school, right? And so can you tell me, if you can, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I kind of do. I want to ask you, like, who was the one important person on the campus that really pushed you or really said, no, you can do this, or you were at a challenge academically? Who was the person that you really had to go to on your campus that said, I'm going to make sure you get this, or, motivated you?
For me, I'd have to say that there was two. I'd say Mrs. Kull and Miss Edwards.
Miss Edwards?
Who's another counselor at our school.
Okay.
They just always kept me motivated, especially like when it came to applying for college. Like, I know that there was that stress, but I would talk to them and I would ask them about, applying to college, and that would help me feel like better and less stressed about actually like submitting them. And then with other stuff for school, they've really always been like the number one supporters for me. So I'm really thankful that, I know them.
See, she's already Dr. Nunez here. Great. Thank you. I'm sure Mrs. Edwards will appreciate that, as does Ms. Kull. What about you, Jessica?
I like to say my English teacher from last year. She's new. Her name's Miss Aprilio. And I don't know, I just felt a special connection with her. I was never really good at English, but she like made me develop my skills to a point where I didn't know. To an extent where I was like, oh wow, I can do this 3 essays in, I don't know, in like 2 hours or something. And I was like, oh wow, I actually did that. She just motivated me to understand what I'm capable of. And yeah, she's just really sweet and really kind and really thoughtful and patient.
That's wonderful. And so I guess, Mrs. Kull, what I would like to ask you is, and you've been doing this for many, many years, decades, what do you see, and if for the parents, the families that are watching for their students or their children who are middle schoolers or in elementary school or even entering high school, what would your advice be? Because you don't want to just tell a child, all I want you to do is study, or all I want you to do is this, because this is an example of being balanced, having a little bit of a social life, going to the football games, but also keeping your studies. What would your advice as a educated professional be to our families who are like, I want my child to be a valedictorian or salutatorian, or at least to get to that top level of academics?
Well, they have to know that the students are going to have to do a lot of work. But you're right, they have to balance it. And that's what I always tell the students. You have to do all these things, but make sure you're balancing it so that you are still a happy person when it's all done. Because as you know, if you just focus on one thing and that's all you do, then you're kind of losing out on other things to help balance you out. So these two girls are excellent examples of being involved in campus, but also doing what they needed to do to get those good grades in their classes.
And I know that Principal Dr. Camacho was very, very proud when I was telling him that we're going to be interviewing the Communication Media Services, District Media Services team was going to interview our Val and Sal. And he's like, I'm so proud. They're great. They're go-getters. So, you know, you've got your seal of approval from your Principal, Dr. Camacho, as well. And I guess my question to you would be, what's your favorite hobby? Like, what do you guys like to do when you're not studying, when you're not thinking of your English essays or you're thinking of your science classes or your math classes? What do you like to do on your spare time?
I like cooking.
What? Really?
Yeah, it's just my mom, especially like she's Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much.
So that would make you Mexican too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but there's so much, and then especially since I'm gonna move out, I'm telling her now, like, you need to teach me how to make this and this and this.
So
and
what are you
that.
making? What's some of the dishes?
Yesterday we made enchiladas.
Oh,
I love enchiladas.
yeah.
They're so good.
Cheese?
Yeah. No, we use like
Chicken?
pork.
Oh, pork.
Yeah, we
Okay.
use pork. And then what's another one? Pozole. I need to learn how to make pozole.
That's not easy to make.
Yeah, I know. It takes a while.
Yeah.
No, but she needs to teach me how to make that too. And then there's other stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
and what
I just
about
love
you?
it.
What's your hobby, Jennifer?
I would say hanging out with friends and playing water polo. Like, water polo for me for the last 2 years has really just been a safe space and, you know, somewhere I can go that, I don't have to think about school and I could just focus on having fun. But yeah, this season was like especially really great, but it's kind of sad because it was my last season. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I love swimming, so that's great. I have a question for you. Do you have any siblings?
Yes.
Okay, who are they?
I have a younger sister. Her name is Vanessa. She's a junior.
At where?
Eisenhower.
At Ike as well. Okay, wonderful. So she's got some big shoes to fill, right? So you're going to help her. You're going to guide her. You're going to stay with her,
I'll
right?
try my best.
Yes. And what about you?
Brothers,
Sisters, siblings?
Yeah, I have 3 more, but 2 are actually graduated, and I just have a younger sister. She goes to Frisbee.
Oh, good.
She's 13.
She's the Falcon.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
She's going to be heading over. Now, is that where you went as well?
Yeah.
Or you went to Frisbee? Where did you go for middle school?
I went to Cole.
Oh, you went to Kolb. Okay, excellent. So I guess my last question for both of you, and thank you so much, Mrs. Kull, for being here as well. But my last question to both you young ladies would be, if you could give any advice to your peers or the students that are juniors or freshmen or even middle school students coming from Kolb or from Frisbee or any of our Rialto Unified School District middle schools, what would you tell them on how to get to the level? Not everybody is going to be a valedictorian or salutatorian, but we want our students to do well, and we want them to have high academics. And what would your advice be to them? What would you have to give up? Is it sacrificing? Is it discipline? What is it? What's the secret that makes you be you?
I think that there are some things that had to be sacrificed. Like sometimes there were school events that I couldn't go to just because I had to study for like a test. But I would say like don't put that much stress on yourself. Like I understand it's a big goal that you might want for yourself, but you should really focus on yourself and your mental health over academics. It should always be yourself over that. And just make sure you're having fun. I mean, get the good grades, but just make sure you're also having fun and time for yourself.
This is so good. Great advice. Be balanced and take care of yourself before you start doing the rigor. What about you, Jessica?
No, just having persistence and not overly consuming yourself in the work that you're putting, in the work that you're doing in school, academics, and all of that. Like Jennifer said, you need to have fun. Like, it's not all just school. Like, we did that. We had events, we had dances, we had all of this. We were able to do all of that and keep up with our grades. But just learning to manage yourself, manage your time, be organized, try your best to do so. And then that helped me out a lot. And I hope it helps someone else.
And that's what I was going to say, time management. They have to learn how to manage their time. So when they get those windows where they could be doing stuff, that they do that because they need to. And then, you know, there are just so many students now that are just waiting till later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. But you really have to have that time management down to make sure that you are going to be able to do it.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Kull, for joining us. And both of you young scholars, I will be seeing you along with a lot of district leaders and your principals and your administration, your teachers, and your support staff at the Toyota Arena on June 4th at Eisenhower High School's big commencement. So congratulations. And I know you guys are going to be walking right in the front and practicing your speech. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I want to thank you for being here as well. Until next time, I'm Saida Joffrey for the Bridge Podcast.